Welcome to the Tao of Pizza, where we feature top logistics leaders, entrepreneurs, and supply chain innovators and share their inspiring stories with a holistic twist.
Mark Hiddleson here, host of the Tao of Pizza podcast, where I talk with top industry innovators in the warehousing, logistics, and supply chain business with a holistic twist. And we've got a really special guest today. But before I introduce author Shawn Phillips, this episode is brought to you by Specialized Storage Solutions. Listen, I've been in the logistics industry for several decades, and I know I don't look that old, but it's true. And we provide leading industry warehouse storage solutions nationwide. So basically, if you have a warehouse that needs rack, shelving, carts, conveyors, or mezzanines, we help with design, engineering, installation, inspections, and repairs to help clients optimize their logistics operations. Shawn, sometimes people don't even realize we can actually help with permit acquisition services. We take a holistic look at your entire business chain ecosystem to develop the resources for continually improving your operation. To learn more, visit our website, specialracks.com, or give us a call at 707-732-3892. And I'll even give you my personal email address for podcast listeners. You can email me at markhiddleson@aol.com if you're ready to take your warehouse and storage retrieval systems to the next level. Now,
awesome.
Shawn Phillips.
Hold on. Did you say specialracks.com?
Yeah, it is.
Okay, there you go.
So Shawn
got to
Phillips,
emphasize that.
Yeah. It's specialracks.com.
There you go. Thank you.
So I'm really honored, Shawn. I'm honored to have you on the Tao of Pizza. You're one of the people who could probably give a better explanation of why it's called Tao of Pizza than I can. So Shawn Phillips is a best-selling author and pioneer, I think is the understatement of the year, but pioneer in sports, nutrition, and fitness. Shawn Phillips is now embarked on an integrated approach called Zen of Strength, which combines the intensity of martial arts and the mindfulness of yoga with the muscle of strength training. Shawn's a founding member of the Integral Institute, a leader in the human potential movement, and a highly sought-after expert in the integration of body, mind, and spirit. Shawn, it's great to have you on.
Thanks, Mark. It's great to be here. It's always great to connect with you. And as the Tao of Pizza, it's because, it's a slice of every part of your life, right? Bringing it all together. Kind of like when we talk about Integral, we talk about pizza and bringing every slice in.
Yeah. And the Tao is kind of the wholeness of it, and the pizza is the parts, and so you get the wholeness. And we're going to get into a lot of those conversations, I know, but I want to talk about. Tell us a story about what happened before you published Strength for Life. How did you get to become an author? What kind of?
Well, I mean, if we want to go into the background world, right? So, geez.
Yeah.
I'm going to give you the Reader's Digest version. First of all, you got a better background setup than I do right now, so I'm a little envious there. I kind of didn't prep today, so.
Hey, no worries.
Yeah. I'm going to go. Don't send the room rater at me. You don't know what the room rater is, but I do. So so I started in health and fitness, really as a teenager in high school sports and stuff. My brother and I started really instructing, high-end supplements and nutrition in the early 90s. We launched a magazine called Muscle Media Magazine, the biggest magazine really. It was an exploding thing. We were sort of the anti-Weider boys, like Joe Weider and his brother. And we were like we're the other solution, Bill and Shawn Phillips, right? And so we started what became the world's largest sports nutrition company called EAS, where we could have used some of your racking, although we did have really awesome purple racking in the warehouse because purple was our color, right? Yeah. So it was gorgeous and all color coded and stuff. And we kept enough room to park the Ferraris and Lamborghinis.
We love clients like that. The more Ferraris and Lamborghinis, the better.
Yeah, that's good. And so we did that, and then my brother wrote a book called Body for Life in the year 2001. About the time we sold EAS and got moving on to a couple other companies. So, and of course, you've been one of my best clients for the 12 years I ran Full Strength Nutrition, which is not done, but on hold right now. And I really started focused on nutrition for men over 40, really. I'm, not nothing against the girls and women out there, but I just really felt like men needed the emphasis and focus, especially over the age of 40. So I started that move about, I call it roughly a decade ago, but it's a few years over a decade ago. I wrote Strength for Life, which was really about bringing, so I had to do two things with Strength for Life because, Body for Life is the best selling fitness book in history. I mean, there's like 10 million copies sold, right?
Wow.
There's been more diet books sold, but when it comes to really an integrative fitness solution, there's been no more than Body for Life. So I had to bring something I'd been working on since the late 90s, which is really a mindfulness approach, kind of meditative approach. I mean, I started meditating probably like you. I started meditating in the mid 90s and started understanding, reading philosophy, reading the philosophers. I got a hold of Ken Wilber's work, the founder of the Integral Institute and the creator of really the integral mindset. And of course, as we're going to talk about a little bit later, we'll talk about George Leonard, Mike Murphy, and Esalen Institute and how all those things come into play. But I started bringing all that stuff together. And what I did is I brought Body for Life. I brought the tangible aspect of strength training, the importance of strength training, nutrition, mindfulness, in really an integral work in Strength for Life. The interesting thing is there's been a lot of integral books written, but they're all integral auto mechanics, integral cooking, integral meditation, integral living, right? There's been very few books that have integrated the integral without calling it integral, right?
That's what I love. When I picked it up, I picked that book up at an airport, probably when it just came out, and I'd never heard of you or anything. And I had heard of Body for Life, but I just graduated with my master's degree in holistic health education.
Yeah, that's
and when I saw the title, and I said, it's not Body for Life, it's strength.
Yeah.
Because your body's going to go through changes that are really, aging. It's not anything you do. Gravity is going to have its effect over the years, right? And I was getting to that when I picked up the book. I was probably just approaching that almost 40.
Yeah.
And you still kind of feel indestructible. But I was graduating from holistic health. I picked it up, and you're right. It doesn't say anything like this is a holistic approach, but immediately by reading the cover, I said, this is a holistic approach. This is, and I had studied Wilber and George Leonard, and I said, like, this is an integral. I mean, I call it integral life practice.
Yeah. Oh, and that's, as the Integral Institute put together their book on integral life practice, my focus intensity training, which is at the heart of the strength training practice, is the gold star integral practice. It is in their ILP. And, it is. So, and that's one of the things I knew, that if you know integral and spiral dynamics, if you understand consciousness, if you're a mindfulness practitioner, you'll recognize that that's what's in the book.
Exactly.
But if you're not, and you're more of a fitness aficionado or, a muscle guy or something like that, you'll still pick the book up and you'll get it downloaded to you without you having. See, if I came out and told your average fitness guy, hey, this is a book on integral, they're going to set it down and go, whatever the hell that is.
Yeah, all quadrants, all level,
all lines,
levels, lines, states, and stages. And spiral dynamics and gray. Yeah, and I've heard other people. I mean, I love integral theory, but one of the challenges is when people get it, they look at it as kind of another ladder to climb.
Yeah.
Instead of digestion, the way it was like, oh, I want to jump from first tier to second tier, and it's like, wait a minute, it's not what it's about.
Yeah. Oh, that goes back to your chasing the flag thing you talked about when we were talking yesterday, right?
About capturing the flag.
Capture the flag. Yeah, chasing versus capturing. You're right, capture.
Yeah, capture the flag, which is a game, and it was. It's funny because one of the things, I've worked on that book for several years, but one of the first things I started doing when I started working with you, and I talked you into doing a one-on-one coaching. I know that's not your normal.
Yeah.
But you started having me listen to podcasts, and I never, my best friend was sending me Chris Johnson. He was sending me podcasts, but wow, that opened up such a window for me to go look. And I found an old recording. I think it was like 2004 with George Leonard, Michael Murphy, and Ken Wilber.
Oh my gosh, I know.
for an
I recall
hour.
that one. Yeah. Yeah.
And they were talking about it, and that's what, Michael Murphy, he founded Esalen. He's an author. He wrote several books. The one I can think of right now is Golf in the
Golf in the
Kingdom.
Kingdom.
It
Yeah.
was a national bestseller. But he said on there, one of the keys of the success of, and they wrote the book, it's escaped, The Life We're Given, that they
The Life
co-wrote.
Forgiven. Yeah. Which is a beautiful book. I mean, that's a masterpiece. That's really the kind of the origin of the ILP, integral life practice.
Exactly. And that's what he said is one thing that kept it going, and Esalen was so successful over the years, is that nobody, quote unquote, captured the flag or said, here, we found it. This is the only, solution. And I think it's a trap that a lot of people fall into. They find something that works and they go, okay, this applies to everything.
Yeah. Yeah. And as we talked yesterday, we were saying that's really a disease of the health, fitness, and nutrition world, right? I found the diet. I've got the I'm low carb, man. I'm the Atkins thing, I'm keto, I'm doing paleo, whatever the diet is, and the diet of the day. Or I found body weight training because I used to use those cumbersome weights. And you're like,
Yeah.
it's really,
What's funny. So what's funny about that, I was on another podcast. This came up when I started working with you. The goal was to start working on a book project.
Yeah.
And within 90 days, I had lost 25 pounds. I was in the best shape of my life and everything. And that wasn't my goal, but it's funny, today I knew we were going to have this call. And I'm thinking, okay, I had 3 eggs, some feta cheese, some spinach, and bacon. I got to tell Shawn what I've had. I had 2 cappuccinos this morning. I probably had 4 or 5 glasses of water, but we just kind of started sharing. We were doing it. We weren't talking about it, or it wasn't a particular diet, but I was food journaling. I was regular journaling. I was writing, strength training. And I want you to talk a little bit more about FIT, because one of the things that I loved about Strength for Life is, and I don't know if it was before I read it or after I read it, but strength training that's kind of my go-to meditation. And I don't think, and people think, well, you're building your body. Well, you're actually, when you're building your mind. You mind saying more about that?
Well, no, focus intensity training. So what I did is I broke down, I was tasked with the integral, teaching meditators, yoga practitioners how to deal with strength training. And it's an interesting process to get them to understand that it's not some egoic experience, and that the real thing is about being there and connecting your mind to muscles and being in the moment. And so what I teach with focus, which is it's your mind drives the intensity of your muscles, right? So the focus and intensity, and then your training, right? So it's being in the zone. So what I teach people is how to use breath, grounding, charging. And so I have this kind of circle wheel that I teach this, and I get their state elevated. And, so many people, even if they know how to lift, even if they know what to do with a bicep curl or something, they go through the motion. And I say, the weight's working them, they're not lifting the weight, right? So I'm creating a very intentional practice out of it. I get you to recharge, to ground, to feel the ground. And that becomes the kind of, from integral perspective, there's 3 universal energies in the world. There's the gross, which is our gross physical self, right? Yep. There's the causal, which is the energy might be called your aura, the energy around you, the energy you feel from other people when you see them. Then there's the subtle energy, which is the energy field of the universe, right?
Right.
So what we're doing in FIT is we're really bringing all those energies into play, because you're actually connecting, you're grounding, you're charging, you're bringing your breath energy, but then also you're doing your exercise very intentionally, which lands you very much in the moment. So you're actually here. So instead of chasing the end of the workout, you're actually enjoying the process of the rep. I even teach you ways to count backwards, or ways to, count like 1, do 10 ones, do 10 1 sets instead of doing a set of 10 where you're chasing to get to number 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Right. No, I just do 1, 2, 1, 3, 1, 4, 1, 5, right? So you count the 5 on the way on the down, but every up or contraction is just 1. So you're giving it your all. But when you bring that kind of energy into play. Sorry, I have to reset there goes my screen. And you bring that back into play, bring that energy into the field, you really get into the moment. And that really does something else, which it begins to give you that feedback, which is, the dopamine cycle. So, human beings are nothing but dopamine pursuers, chasers, and craving machines, right?
Right.
Food, sex, alcohol, caffeine, exercise, they're all ways to increase our dopamine.
Yeah.
Dopamine's the neurotransmitter of motion, motivation, action, movement, everything.
I'd put it sex, alcohol, and then food, but
Yeah, yeah. I said not necessarily in that order.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Yeah.
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 And
It gives you access to that in the moment. And I've found too, there's nothing that puts me more in the moment when I've got enough weight on me that I know it's only as much as I could physically push off.
well, I mean, yeah,
Right there.
you don't have an option to not be focused if
Yeah.
you're really doing some moving some iron, right? I mean, you just don't have any option, and that's just that helps. But I like to, and I treat the whole workout more like, you're going to a dojo, so you have a preparatory engagement phase, you have a reflection phase and an exit, but you treat your training like with the respect that you would expect if you walked into a dojo, the martial arts center, right? You don't just treat it like, it's not obligatory. It's actually an expression of greatness and joy and, pleasure. But that transitions it for people. And when I would teach meditators and yoga practitioners, I would take them just through the fit cycle, through the grounding, and I'd help them feel like, I'd use the bicep exercise out of Strength for Life, where if you just flex a bicep, people are like, oh, I can kind of, I can kind of feel that. Then I have them look at it, touch it. So a touch training, and then picture like a marble in your bicep, like a red hot marble, just touch it and then flex it. And you're like, whoa, whoa.
Yeah. So you're bringing in the visualization piece,
Yeah.
the
Mm-hmm.
focus. Yeah.
The touch training, everything.
Yeah.
But the reality is they teach you how to activate and to get in contact with the muscle in the body in such a way that, you don't actually even have to touch it to really start to feel the ground and effect. I mean, that's one of the things you'll see, like working on the physique, like I have for so many years and being in gyms forever, is how people will train all the front of their body, but have no back development because they can't see it in the mirror.
Right.
So they don't know how to train their back.
Yeah. And it look, you can tell. And it's funny. I've been working out with my son for the last couple years. I've told you we do your 4XL muscle mass, muscle mayhem workout.
Yeah. It's fun. It's a great workout.
Yeah. But whenever I trained without something like that, I knew how to train. I've been in gyms all life, but what would happen is I would do a few workouts and then go back. And my favorite was chest. So, if I did 10 workouts and then I kind of stopped for a few days, when I went back, I'd always go back to chest. It wasn't like I was going back to leg day.
Yeah. I'm not going back to leg day. Yeah.
So when you have if you got 21 workouts and you're like, look, I'm doing these 21 workouts in the next 28 days, and you just do them in order, you go in there, you go, okay, today's leg day. We don't skip.
I still think that workout, where I really want that workout to go, and I think now is I put it into an app, because I don't want you to know what tomorrow's workout is until you open it on that day, right?
Uh-huh.
And I want those 28 workouts to, every time you do it, to change dynamically, right?
Yeah.
So the workout's always fresh, because you never know what tomorrow's going to bring.
Yeah. And it's 4 different ways of training. It's Zen,
energy
Arnold,
systems, strength. Yeah. I named them after the places I stole them from, right?
50 reps. Yeah, it was beautiful. It was beautiful. The good artist borrows, but the great artist steals, right?
Yeah.
You're a great artist. So I know you said you had a time limit on this. We've only got a few more minutes, and we're gonna have to do this again. I knew.
You knew I talk too much. Is that what you do?
This is perfect. This is perfect. I just I haven't upgraded my Zoom thing, and I only have 8 minutes and 25 seconds left for my subscription. Now, I know you said you had some things on the back end, and I definitely want to reschedule something. I know we want to get together, and where this is valuable, I think, of my clients, and I've used strength training is if you're an entrepreneur or you're the leader, innovator, industry, stress is going to take its toll. And, there's a paradigm with stress that I looked at in my master's degree. It wasn't like I'm not looking to avoid stress, but I'm looking to really build my system where I can
Well, create
handle
strength.
more stress. Yeah. And
Create strength.
increase my strength. Yeah.
Yeah. Because
So
strength is the resource, right? Strength is the resource. And I think every entrepreneur and every business person is looking for time. And
right,
time, they think time's the currency of life. The reality is energy is the currency of life.
right.
And so what you really need is more energy. And I heard this on one of my favorite podcasts recently. And there was two guys that are real big strength. I mean, they're both doctors, PhDs, right? And one said to the other, he said, you know what you'll never hear a 90-year-old guy say? Gee, I wish I had less muscle.
Who was it?
It was Lane BioLane's his name, Lane Norton, and Peter Attia.
Yeah, I'm going to find a link to it. So any of the resources that we mentioned that we can find if they're available, I'll put a link in this. And we've got a few more minutes. And so for me in Strength for Life, it was focus intensity training, nutritional freedom was the other thing I thought was huge. And then kind of the anatomy of a 12-week, like why 12 weeks is such a great amount of time for transformation.
Well, the 12, which is 12-day primer, which is a preparation, a base camp, right? 12 weeks, which is the training phase, and 12 months, which is your annual kind of periodization and plan and goals, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes I look back on some of the things I wrote and did, and I go, damn, I was pretty smart.
Yeah. So share a little bit about nutritional freedom.
Nutritional freedom, quickly say, it's really taking, like you were talking about when we worked together, how everything changed for you. And all I could think about is one of those principles that you get from all your philosophical books, but certainly from Ken Wilber, which is awareness changes everything, right? So the minute you become aware of your cravings, your food, the things you're eating, and you focus more on the realm of how I'm feeling, not what I'm craving, right? You start to shift away from compulsive eating into eating. See, I don't want people to live on a diet. I want them to live in nutritional freedom, which is really, I have the awareness and the desire to eat the foods that are best for me because they taste the best, they reward me the most, and they're the best for everything, for all around, right? That doesn't mean I don't eat chocolate cake, right?
Right.
You eat things, it's all foods are like medicine, and it's the dose that creates the poison, right?
Right.
A little bit of mercury doesn't kill you, but a lot will finish you off fast, right?
Exactly.
So the dose creates the poison, and that thing with food. I mean, I go out and have a hamburger, but it's because 80% of the time I'm doing the right thing.
Right.
And that's what I remember. Stallone said that to me, Sly, one time. He said, he said, as long as 80% of the time I'm doing the right thing, 20% of the time I can eat chocolate cake. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. But nutritional freedom, I was telling you the other day, I laughed because you hear that whole diet app Noom has become such a big thing. I finally dug into it. I could tell what they were talking about. I dug into it and I go, basically somebody took Strength for Life, nutritional freedom, and put it into an app. I go, well, it's good. It works. But it's just an awareness practice.
Yeah. And I put in the category of mindfulness.
Yeah. Mindfulness. Yeah. It's good.
Mindfulness. Yeah. And if you divorce, and it's in the chapters of my book, you follow a certain thing, but mindfulness, when you take it out of the whole practice and you're doing it to check another box, and even an app, I don't know, I'm changing though too. My paradigm has shifted so many times when it comes to some of these things. Like, I thought email was a fluke, right? So that tells you how much I know about what's going to stick. But I will say, I think email is on its way out.
Well, I think it's got a ticking time bomb or clock on it, right? Yeah. I do, because emails going for me the way of voicemail. Somebody will say, I left you a voicemail. I go, well, that must be really nice. That's cute. Am I supposed to listen to it? I don't know.
So that's one of the reasons we started the podcast. I mean, there were three reasons. I wanted a way to connect with my customers, and they're already getting bombarded with emails. So, my idea was I want to shout from the rooftop some of the stories of the people, and you're definitely at the top of the list, people that have helped me elevate my game. I mean, you took me from, and things I didn't, I mean, my marriage got better. Like I said, I didn't sign up with Shawn Phillips to lose 25 pounds. I thought I was already in the shape of my life.
Yeah.
I'm going, as long as I look good in my underwear, then I'm in shape. But it was just awesome. And
Well, thanks.
so I wanted to ask you, I know you listen to podcasts. What's one of your favorite podcasts, or if you've got a few?
Oh man, that's really tough because I have so many. I mean, I always, I have a love-hate with Tim Ferriss over years, but Tim's a reliable, great podcaster, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And I really think Tim has grown over the last 15, 20 years. He's
Yeah.
really grown up and
Yeah.
he's become more human, more, less of a machine and more of a human being. And he's willing to call out his flaws and faults and look back on himself and laugh, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And so, I mean, that's one of my favorite. I listen to a lot of very technical stuff that a lot of people would just roll their eyes when they try to listen to it or go into a coma,
Yeah.
PhDs in health, fitness, nutrition, neuropsychology, and stuff like that. So Dr. Peter Attia, I listen to quite a bit, and I have an insider membership there. I listen to, I have to be honest, I listen to the Bulwark a lot. I love the Bulwark, man. It's one of my favorites. It's Charlie Sykes. And he's 35 years of daily Republican right-wing radio in recovery.
So I love that. Well, I'll put links. I'll find links to all those. I'll put them in there. But I want to be the first to thank you, Shawn, for coming on. And I'm going to put Tim Ferriss as your favorite podcast.
One
of my favorite lines is, I'm not a huge Tim Ferriss fan, but I've read all of his books.
I know.
4-Hour Work Week, 4-Hour Body, Tools of Titans. And there's another one he had on mentors. But this has been awesome, Shawn. I know for sure we want to make time to do this again. It's been a pleasure.
Well, yeah, I mean, I appreciate it, Mark. It's great to be here. It's always great talking with you and great energy. And we have a good laugh about stuff. And when I'd love to come back and talk about the decade reflection on Strength for Life that I'm working on and the audio platform I'm building around it. It's going to be fun. Cool piece.
Absolutely. And we're going to have that's going to be available too. We'll make sure that we get that on the next one.
All right. Cool, dude.
Great, brother. Good talking.
All right, man. You too, man.
Thanks for listening to the Tao of Pizza podcast. We'll see you again next time, and be sure to click subscribe to get future episodes.